Hello, welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Rory Graham and I'm your host, and today we have the pleasure of having with us Frank Cubillo from Frank Sings Frank, right? Frank Sings Frank.
That's
right?
correct.
And that's very descriptive. Go ahead and tell us what you do. I think the title says it all, but go ahead.
Well, thanks, Rory. Thanks for having me on the show. And yeah, just like the name implies, I am a Frank Sinatra tribute singer as opposed to an impersonator. I don't try to impersonate Frank Sinatra. I don't believe anybody really truly can. So I provide a service to anyone who'd like to hire me to sing Frank Sinatra songs, Tony Bennett songs, Bobby Darin songs, Dean Martin songs, that genre. And I provide that service to anybody who would like to have entertainment, because I'm not just a singer, I'm an entertainer as well.
Yeah, that's a whole style of music in itself. I mean, you know, you just named those guys, but this Michael Bublé or whatever, he's the only other person I know that's kind of tapped into that same style.
And Harry Connick Jr.
Yes, Harry Connick Jr.,
Yep.
yeah, I guess. Let's start first with your background, because it's unusual background for guys singing Frank Sinatra. Go ahead and tell us about your background.
Well, my background, I was, first of all, I was born, I'm from New York City, from Brooklyn, New York, and raised on Long Island. And my name is Frank. A lot of people say, is that your real name, or is that just something clever that you did? And I went to a military school when I was a young kid in high school, and ended up joining the Marines in 1972. I had no idea when I joined that I would make it a career. 37 plus years later, I retired from the United States Marine Corps, and that was 5 years ago.
You were a colonel, right?
I started off as a private, worked my way up through the ranks, and retired as a full bird colonel here in Virginia Beach. Was my last assignment.
Well, that is quite different than most singers, I would assume.
Right.
Okay, so you told us the different types of songs that you sing. Where do you sing?
Okay, that's a really good question, because you know, one would think that a Frank Sinatra singer, well, where's the opportunity here in Hampton Roads? There's plenty of opportunities. One of the biggest business lines, if you will, for Frank Sings Frank for me is assisted living, senior living, and retirement communities here in Hampton Roads. And I have come to find out that as the baby boomer generation gets grayer, there's so many of them right now, and they love to be entertained. And the people who are in those homes right now are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and 90s, some even over 100 years old, and they love this music. So there's one area that I go. I also perform at the oceanfront in Virginia Beach as one of the Beach Street USA performers, and at the Virginia Beach Town Center. They have live entertainment on the weekends during the summer. I'm one of those entertainers as well. I perform at weddings. A lot of brides have discovered that it's nice to have an entertainer, a live entertainer, singer like myself, to perform during the cocktail hour or the dinner hour. And so there's another area where I stay pretty busy. And area restaurants. Area restaurants seem to, if they want to take a chance and have a singer-entertainer like me, I think that I provide a nice service for them.
You bring back the same crowd keeps coming back to see
yes.
you, you know. So
yes.
it's a good way to build an audience for them.
Yeah.
All right, so how did you get started in this? I mean, the transition, I'm trying to make that connection exactly. Well, I will say I tried to make it, because you kind of told me a little bit beforehand. But tell me, how did you make a transition from Marine, tough Marine,
right.
to
singing? The macho Marine image, Marine colonel, to being a performer, entertainer like this. Well, I think the roots go back to my childhood, growing up in New York. My parents played Frank Sinatra all the time. My memories of growing up, that there was music in my house all the time, and the music that was playing in my house when I was a youngster was Frank Sinatra. And so I think subconsciously that music has been in with me all the time. So maybe in the background I thought that maybe is something that I might want to do years, you know, just keep singing that. Going through grade school, I performed in plays. I was a choir boy. I loved to sing, so I was always singing. And then when rock and roll hit, I was in a rock band. I became a singer in a garage band, pickup band kind of thing. I joined the Marines, and there was very few opportunities to sing, but I still kept playing the music, and it still was with me, and I still remembered those songs. It wasn't until later on in my Marine career that when karaoke became very popular, especially in the Far East where I was stationed, that I would go to karaoke bars in Korea and Thailand and Japan, and I would sing Frank Sinatra songs, and I would not need to use the monitor, and I would walk out on the dance floor and sing, and the audience would swear I'm Frank Sinatra. They said, you have a sound like him, your mannerisms are like him. So it began to embolden me. And so when I retired in 2009 here in Virginia Beach, I said, you know what, why not? Why don't I do something very bold and unusual and start a small business and start singing and entertaining and see how that goes.
You've been doing this 5 years.
5 straight years ever since I retired.
Okay, so let me jump down here because you just skipped over 2 questions. Actually answered 2 of them.
Oh, good.
And now it says here that you have over 275 Sinatra songs. I didn't know he did 275 songs.
Okay, well, here's the clue. Here's the thing about Frank Sinatra that a lot of people do not know. I have studied his music and have looked into and did a lot of research about him through the years, and come to find out that he recorded over 1,100 songs in his lifetime. Now, so that's an incredible body of work. Of those 1,100 songs, I would say there was probably about 400 or 500, in my opinion, of songs that were really, really popular and that people can relate to. And so, as I was mentioning earlier, growing up, as soon as I came out of my mother's womb, I was hearing Frank Sinatra.
Right.
And so those songs subconsciously stayed in my head. And I learn music fast. I learn songs fast, melodies, I pick them up fast. And so every song seems to have a story, and that's how I remember the lyrics to all those songs. People ask me, how do you do that? I just kind of relate the song to a story.
You use pre-recorded music.
You
don't carry your band.
Right. I use technology. You know, sadly, I would, believe me, I would love to have sing behind a big band like Michael Bublé or Harry Connick Jr. or Frank when he had the Tommy Dorsey band or these other big great band leaders of the years past. But that it's very hard to do, and it's very expensive, and it's just unreasonable. It's much easier using technology and using pre-recorded tracks to have that music, very good quality. I insist on good quality karaoke-like background tracks, and I'll use that to it's a lot easier. It's just me and the music.
Right. Now you mentioned that several different places that you have played and all. Do you have a favorite venue that you kind of like to do?
Well, I'll be
favorite area.
Well, in Virginia Beach, certainly. I love singing at the oceanfront. It's a very unique venue because people are walking up and down the street and I'm singing, and all of a sudden I catch their attention, and that's fun. But I will say that and the Virginia Beach Town Center, they allow me to sing in the square, the Virginia Beach Town Center Square, and that is a wonderful venue for me, and I've only had a couple of opportunities this past summer. I'm hoping to get more next summer, but that is probably my favorite. And then next to that, close second, would be all the assisted living, senior living, and retirement communities, because the people are a captive audience and they just love that music. They all relate. They're singing along with me.
Yeah, they know the words.
And it energizes you. You know, as an entertainer, you're as good as your audience, the energy that you get from your audience, and I get a lot from those folks.
Well, how long do you intend to be doing this? I mean, you're retired from the Marines.
I'm retired from the Marines. I'm coming up on my 61st birthday next month, and I look at entertainers like Tony Bennett, who is 88 years old and still performing to this day. He took care of his voice, he took care of his body, and unlike some other entertainers like Frank, who didn't really take good care of himself in his later years, and it showed. He got sloppy in his entertainment. But Tony, I just saw him in April here in Norfolk. He's still terrific. So I am encouraged by singers like him to one day continue to do this. As long as my voice holds up and as long as I have the health, I'm going to keep doing it.
Oh, well, that's great. Is there anything I haven't mentioned that you would like to mention, or did I cover it?
Well, no, I would encourage people to consider me. I have a very cool website to go to.
Okay.
And on that website, there's lots of photos and videos. I have 2 CDs that I've recorded here locally.
Oh, you did? I didn't ask you about that.
Yeah, I've recorded 2 CDs, and they're available on my website, and you can purchase those through there. I like to record in the studio. It's fun. But again, as I mentioned before, I would love the opportunity to record with a live band someday, because you know, I'm not a trained musician. I've never gone and got voice lessons, but if you hear me sing, you'll say, wow, that guy has a voice and he can sing, and it sounds kind of like Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
So.
All right, well, cool. Well, I wish you a great deal of success with that. All right, so if you're in need of an entertainer, you have a group or a restaurant or any type of business that could use some entertainment, local entertainment, you can give Frank a call. His contact information, including that wonderful website, is at the end of this video, and it's also at the bottom of this page. And I'm sure that you all would have he would provide you with a good time. I thank you very much for coming out. I wish you a great deal of success, and it's been a real good 5 years for you. So I hope that continues. And
Thank you
for
very
sharing.
much. Thanks,
Thank you.
Rory.
Thanks.